Although linguists have argued that certain patterns of language organization are the exclusive province of humans, perhaps the only uniquely human component of language, researchers have discovered the same capacity to recognize such patterns and distinguish between them in the common European starling. Our research is a refutation of the canonical position that what makes human language unique is a singular ability to comprehend these kinds of patterns. If birds can learn these patterning rules, then their use does not explain the uniqueness of human language. Even though the last common ancestor of birds and humans goes back 300 million years on the evolutionary tree, birds and humans evolved the same talking system. Vocal learning and production in songbirds and humans are controlled by comparable brain pathways and molecular mechanisms, demonstrating convergent evolution. Although mammals and birds evolved from different sources, birds exhibit advanced behaviors connected to vocal learning. Mentors teach students sounds, names, syntax, and grammar, which they then practice and improve. While millions of years of evolution have led to specialized language and communication in different species, the same elements of language exist throughout the animal kingdom, differing in degree and variation. The propensity to recognize language and the ability to learn other languages are traits we share with even our most distant relatives. Just as we can learn the basics of their language, they can learn the basics of ours. While differing anatomy inhibits the ability to speak the language of other species and limits vocal learning, different species can learn to understand the meaning of words and sounds from other species that are meaningful to them, even if they lack the anatomy to replicate those sounds. Researchers believe that using AI, we may soon be able to replicate these sounds and communicate directly with other species. You and I could never echolocate like a bat, trumpet like an elephant, buzz like a bee, but our computers can. The same technology that is powering ChatGPT will allow us to reach into the non-human world and begin to understand, even speak, animal languages in all their different forms. Remarkably, other species have found ways to mimic human language without the help of AI.
On, two.
Don't touch me.
Sorry.
Without the help of AI, they can learn to decipher human sounds, understand human speech, visually recognize words, and recognize different human languages. African gray parrots, with both the ability to learn human words and the anatomy to replicate human language, have learned to speak English, and researchers proved that parrots use language meaningfully. A parrot named Alex acquired a vocabulary of more than 200 words and was capable of abstraction and of using language referentially. A parrot named Nsiki had a contextual vocabulary of more than 700 words. He apparently understood the meanings of words and used his language skills to make relevant comments. He ordinarily spoke in grammatical sentences, and researchers recorded more than 7,000 original sentences. Animals learn words that are meaningful to them.
Yeah, tell the puppy you love him. I love him.
Dogs can learn to recognize meaningful words, and research shows they understand us better than we think. One dog learned the names of 1,022 objects, and she demonstrated that she understood the meanings of those separate names, categories, and commands. Gorillas have learned thousands of English words. A gorilla named Michael, who had a vocabulary of more than 600 words, was able to use sign language to tell zoo workers that his mother was killed by poachers for meat. A gorilla named Coco learned over 1,000 signs from a modified version of American Sign Language. Coco also understood approximately 2,000 spoken English words. A bonobo named Kanzi learned the meaning of up to 3,000 spoken English words.
Kanzi gives Sue popsicles. Kanzi gives Sue bananas.
Although one species can't perceive or interpret the intricacies of another species' language, they can learn the basics. Mammals eavesdrop on birds. Birds eavesdrop on mammals. There's a whole communication network out there, and everyone is tuned into everyone's alarm calls. We humans aren't the only ones studying the languages of other species. Researchers found that while we study crow communication, crows might be studying our language as well. Large-billed crows may be able to tell the difference between different human languages and pay closer attention to an unfamiliar human language over one they've heard before, almost as if they are trying to learn it. Researchers found that elephants can differentiate between human languages. Rats can tell the difference between Dutch and Japanese. Dogs can recognize different languages and differentiate real words from nonsensical ones. Baboons can recognize words and can learn to tell the difference between real four-letter words and nonsense combinations of letters. Once they figure out the patterns, these monkeys can guess with impressive accuracy whether a new word is real or fake. Pigeons also understand the orthographic properties that define words and were able to distinguish correctly spelled words from those with rearranged characters, like very and vray, or words that were completely misspelled. The researchers wrote, "It's remarkable that the pigeons have the ability to visually recognize words, known as orthographic knowledge." Written language began with symbols, and the ability to read symbols has been seen in birds, apes, dolphins, dogs, sea lions, horses, monkeys, and rats. Other species have the ability to learn human-made symbols if they are meaningful to them. Rats can learn an alphabet based on food quantity. Horses can use symbols to express to humans if they are too cold or too hot, and can ask for a rug to be put on or taken off them by touching symbols on a board. Kanzi, the bonobo, learned to communicate by pressing symbols on a board which triggered an electronic voice. Reporters wrote of the complexity of the board. These 256 symbols bear no visual resemblance to test words and include adjectives, verbs, even wishes, and emotions. The board includes abstracts like good and bad. Some human adults working with Kanzi have taken a year to memorize these symbols and master the board,